I see one question that says lust. And I really, really want to deal with that because that's something that's very, very important. Because it can often get twisted in the reality of the difference between Tantra and lust. And if you happen to get twisted in the game, homie or homegirl, then it could be pretty treacherous on the dimension, and you could find yourself here for like ever. What happens is that now, first of all, remember, I'm not talking at you, I'm talking to you. And whatever you're doing right now is great because you have that experience. However, when you're looking to move on, when you keep saying, I need to go to the next level, just think about that. When you say, I need to go to the next level, what you have to think of is what chakra are you primarily in? And what does going to the next level look like? And the most interesting thing that I find about that is that a lot of people that work with consciousness will claim they're either in their heart chakra or they'll claim that they're actually in their crown chakra. But in reality, because we live in a physical world and there's a lot of flesh and meat and carne going on, as a carne, which is meat or flesh, booties, all of this going on, then, and also reproduction, because see, this is a hard-coded part of our consciousness. So this is not something to try to avoid. This is not something that, you need to be blushing about. But the truth is that you start to realize in your adepthood, and you're going to need to realize this for yourself because there's no amount of whatever any person can tell you, because each of the chakras, if you start looking at the ancient diagrams, what they show you is they show you like this entity, demon, if you may. The largest one that they show is like the opposite in a sense to your enlightened body. It's like your weight, if you may. And they generally show that as, some huge monster with fangs and a big mouth. And then inside the stomach, they show like all of these other worlds and things going on. And what they're actually expressing and saying is that this monster is not able to be satiated. Meaning, no matter how many cars you get, like if you see Chris Brown out there with, I saw so many cars and four-wheelers. I was like, you never get satiated. You never can satiate this monster, this beast from the lower part of the body. So no matter what you feed it, it will keep consuming. And many have found themselves on that vicious cycle. Like in fact, such a large part of the men and the women in the world are sitting in the root chakra right below the navel. This is what's allowing those that are actually more closer to where the navel is to master over those demons. Because what happens is that when you can't transmute the lower energies because you're constantly feeding on and eating lower energies by habit. Like look what the word is saying, lower energy, lower inner chi. The inner chi, the inner energy. How are you fueling your inner energy? So, of course, men become fueled at times, more often than not, by very attractive women, right? And they are fueled at times. People in society generally are fueled by food, even the appearance of food. Like I rode down the freeway the other day, and all I could see is flesh, meaning skin, abs, booty, titties, and hamburgers. And this is showing you again how when that chakra itself is overstimulated, because it's never satiated, it actually turns into a lust. A lust is almost like a salivating version of needing more of the flesh. Now remember, all this is hard-coded into the body because the original command, from that archonic side of ourself is be fruitful and multiply, right? And that's how Gaia stays in her dream. That's how we make sure that their future is actually there. That's how we keep the whole wheel turning, right? So we get its purpose. That's why I'm saying it's not good to demonize any of this stuff to make it bigger than who you are. So we recognize its purpose, but now we must as adepts, as many have done, or actually I want to say many, some have done, sometimes in proper ways, but you must realize how to transmute that energy. What is the higher correspondence of sexual energy. And I want to tell you, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm not just going to give you the speech that I got. Like, hey, you just need to transmute the energy, you'll be better. Okay, why am I doing that again? Because I can only see right away benefits from the other one. So what it is that, see, the bottom half of the body, which we call the bottom cone, is actually very dualistic. That's why you have two legs. You know, one walks in front of the other in order to be ahead. So because of that, what occurs is that in this lower half of the body, everything is separate. So one leg can be seen as female, the other leg can be seen as male. And because of that, that's what physicality is. Physicality is dualism. Physicality is opposites. So when you think about, well, how many people can I get with on the physical reality? I want 2 boyfriends. I want 2 girlfriends. I want 3 girlfriends. When you start thinking about the reality of what that would even be like, you can start realizing, even if you couldn't handle that one person, how are you going to be able to deal with those 2 people in physical reality, right? It's chaos. However, if you start to think about, but on the higher levels, there is no separation. So if you move into the higher energies, and this doesn't mean you move into the higher concept physically, which some people say, on the higher concept, if we all together, that's why I got 5 girlfriends. Wrong. You put it right back into the physical field again. You need to get to a point to where you're not sending off that frequency of lust and desire, oh, I want to be with you, but you are still active in your centers. Because, you know, the other thing is celibacy and monkism, and we've seen that hasn't been very productive either. What it's about is it's about transmuting the energy to realize, especially on journeys, that you have a connection with the opposite sex from a level of polarities that allow a higher level of energetics to be achieved. And when you're thinking about that, and you know that you must erase the lust kind of thing from your consciousness, now you're on the right path. In addition to that, another thing that may assist you in all this, have you ever wondered why those men who have that kind of aspect and lust aspect to them, and women also, seem to kind of run away someone that is actually they're trying to get with? And then they're like, well, I didn't even come across like that. I didn't even say anything. And it's the person, people are naturally avoiding that person. And it's because when they're in that chakra center, that's actually the field that's in front of them. So it's in a slight part of the vibration of your voice. It's coming off of your body. And because of that, what you'll find is you'll primarily run into people that are associated with that same aspect of the chakra. So then when you're trying to get to another level, you won't actually have the people around you that correspond to the next level and thus able to get you to the next level, because they will be repulsed by that actual thought or that actual frequency, which you would think that they're not even able to pick up. And the deeper level of this is because when we, pull back the realm and we see what's really there, you always see at least one being standing behind a person. And generally this could be seen as their oversoul, and this being seems to be rather advanced as far as it knowing about more things than the person. It's, again, some kind of connection that they have to it. So when you're walking up to a person, instead of imagining that you're just seeing that person in physicality, start realizing that there's another much more advanced being standing behind them that can read all of that you got going on that you think that you're hiding from the person. And what this being does is it then in turn guides the person's reflections and actions to how they perceive you. That is exactly the process. Until the person actually merges with their oversoul, they always have that energy there actually scanning everything. And again, this is not about the oversoul's always going to look out for me, the oversoul's always going to do the best thing for me. That's not what we're talking about. This is way more dynamic than that. We're just saying that, remember that there's always something around the person that can see you from even a level at times that you haven't been able to see yet unless you've been on your journey. So that's another major reason why you want to turn that frequency off if you're looking to get to the next level, and just simply transmute it. Don't turn it off, transmute it into realizing that you can be around thousands of men, thousands of women and get to a level that is so much more higher than you could ever achieve in one of these relationships, these short-term relationships that people have entered today, if you're willing to do that. So that's the trade-off. It may take you to your life 40 to figure out that that's the best thing to do. Hey, and that's okay. At least you have the information. And again, knowing is half the battle.